As many of you know, the new Fox film Fantastic Four opened in theaters nationwide last night, and the critic reviews have been less than stellar. Rotten Tomatoes currently has the film sitting at 10%, and our own John Campea and Christian Harloff gave the film a negative review on yesterday's Movie Talk. However, on yesterday's show, John mentioned that he had sources that claimed Fox Studios significantly altered director Josh Trank's movie just prior to and during production of the film. John, what is going on within Fantastic Four?
It is crazy. Who would have ever thought we'd be talking about Fantastic Four this much? Wow. And this is just, the gasoline has just been thrown on the fire last night because, last night Josh Trank made the phenomenal mistake of taking to Twitter. And actually, I've got it here. He took to Twitter and Josh Trank tweeted this. Tweeted, a year ago, I had a fantastic, play on words, I don't know. A year ago, I had a fantastic version of this. And it would have received great reviews. You'll probably never see it. That's really tough. That was a monumentally stupid thing to do. When everybody's talking about to put out a tweet, it's like, yes, no, I'm going to not do that right now. I mean, that's when your more sensible parts of your brain need to kick in. Okay, that being said, this brings up a larger issue within this one specific issue. And, we often talk about on this show about studios that interfere with filmmakers, and should they interfere with filmmakers, and how much is it okay to interfere with filmmakers? And if you've watched this show for any period of time, you know generally my position on this. A movie belongs to the studio. It doesn't belong to the director. And I also often say that at the end of the day, the person most responsible for a film is the person sitting in that director's chair. That's the thing. Like if Christian is an interior designer, and I'm the guy who owns the house, and I'm hiring him to do some interior design, I want to sit down with them. Yeah, was that your next calling in life?
I was just going to say that you should have hired somebody else. Rocky posters everywhere.
Wait, what, this guy? Yeah. Anyway, so, I don't think any of us in here have any interior design taste. No. But, the idea is, he would then sit down with me, and I will tell him my vision for my house, because it's my house, and I'm paying for it. And if once we agree on that, then he should go in and make it. And that is always my stand on this. Sometimes discussions come up about Sam Raimi, about, the studio interfered with Spider-Man 3. The studio told them you got to have Venom. So make a good movie with Venom. Is that so hard? Okay, and that's often my position. However, this seems to be one of those situations that goes above and beyond these normal tropes that we talk about studios interfering, telling a filmmaker you got to do. This goes way past. Now, I've told you guys in the last couple of weeks, including yesterday, that I had a person that I knew, and I'm not into breaking scoops. I like talking about news stories that are out there. I don't like breaking stories. That's not my business. It's not what I do. That being said, I did at least mention, I just said, look, I've got a source who was fairly close to the production of this film, who had told me that the movie that Josh Trank and Fox had agreed on making included 3 really big action set pieces. That was all agreed upon. It was a part of the flow of the movie. And a movie is like a puzzle. You have all the pieces in place. You start messing with pieces, suddenly the whole puzzle can look out of whack. And they had agreed on this vision for a film and whatever. And then days before production began, Fox came in and made him pull 3 main action sequences out of the film. I was also told that the ending of the film was not even Josh Trank's, and at some point, all of us have heard the rumors and read the rumors that at some point they hijacked the editing bay from him to the point where the edit of the film was done and made without him. But, I've often been told many things by certain sources that I say, hey guys, don't go to the bank with this because I don't even know if I trust this source. I was told this once, whatever. So I don't like running with things. However, yesterday, both Christian and I, spoke with another source. This is a second source that confirmed everything we had heard from my first source, that the studio had come in, taken out big set pieces, taken over the third act of the film, taken over the edit bay of the movie, and essentially put out a film that was not the film that they had originally sat down to make. Now, last night, after my robbery on the Schmodown, with some really weird rules. Anyway, I'll go into that another time.
It's Jeopardy.
I got one question wrong.
It was 10 to, anyway, it was 9 to 7. Come on.
Anyway, the I made some phone calls to some friends of mine, filmmakers who have done business with Fox, and I just ran some of the facts by them that I'd been hearing. I said, does this sound consistent with your experience with the Fox? And they said, you have no idea. And then they proceeded to tell me a lot more stuff. I feel confident enough. I'm the guy who always says, don't take this to the bank. I feel confident enough at this place that I've heard this from enough places, enough reputable places, to tell you this, that the film that we saw in Fantastic Four was not the film they were supposed to make. It was not the film that Josh Trank made. And this is an instance where I'm totally fine with the studio interfering because it's their movie. But just like the interior decorator thing, once we agree on what it should do, then let the interior decorator do his work once we've agreed on what it's supposed to be. If I said, you know what, I just want that chair over there instead of there, that's fine. Don't go in and say, no, instead of blue, I want brown. Instead of couches, I want beanbag chairs. Instead of this, I want this. Because at the end of the day, it's not even what he designed in the first place. At that point, a studio is going way beyond the line and crossing a lot of creative things. Look, you agreed on a movie. You had a vision together. Now let the filmmaker do his thing once you start the wheels in motion. This is an instance where Fox way overstepped their boundaries. And I'm not about to make Fox the big villain here. Fox has done a lot of really good things and a lot of really smart things. But I think this one isolated incident, you catch me on a bad day, you're going to catch me doing something stupid. We all do. We all have bad days. I think this is a Fox bad day. This is one situation where Fox is completely wrong. They butchered this movie. And this one time, I will say is their fault. And that's really unfortunate. Anyway, guys, you guys have all been reading and hearing the stuff I've heard about too. Christian, let's start with you. Your thoughts on this whole Fantastic Four fiasco.
Let's start with the tweet. I agree with you. It shouldn't have been tweeted out at all.
No, that was dumb.
No, it was not a smart move. And it was almost kind of similar to what I thought Joss Whedon did when all this stuff was going on. It's like, let it eventually, as it's now happening, it's coming out there, and it will eventually come out. Let other people fight your battles for you at this point, because just stay back, do your thing. I think that, and he deleted the tweet, so he probably knew, oops, maybe I shouldn't have sent that out there.
Yeah.
But let's start with the tweet, first of all, of the things that were in the tweet and whether or not I believe them. And the answer is yes, I do, because I go back to Wolverine Origins, and I go back to thinking about Gavin Hood, who did that movie and also did a movie called Satsi, which I really enjoyed. And I don't believe that would have been the version that we would have wanted to see if Gavin had been given a little more free reign. And I think that Fox maybe bullied him into it. And I think that might have been the case here with Josh Trank, because to me, when I look from everything that we heard with the problems on this set, I was expecting to go into this movie expecting a full-on disaster from start to finish. I didn't get that. I personally didn't feel that. I thought the beginning of the movie was strong. I thought it was choppy. I thought it was weird. Sometimes I thought that we're developing a scene and then it just kind of goes quick into the edit out of it. And I thought maybe that's kind of what you're talking about here.
Yeah.
And maybe Fox going in there thinking that they have a better edit to where you should let your director make his characters, develop his stories, because he did that well in Chronicle. So maybe that was the case. Then, from what you're saying with your original source here, I really believe that last act was changed completely, because it's a different movie. Almost going back to what you said with Straight Outta Compton, how you felt F. Gary Gray took off.
Took a siesta.
It certainly feels like Josh Trank has no presence in the movie at the end of it, because the movie, there were similarities to what I liked in Chronicle, minus the sloppy editing in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And they're completely gone by the third act. Now, that being said, I also don't want to just say that we don't know everything that happened behind the scenes. There's all those rumors about the house and the crazy stuff. Who knows what really happened there? Right. Anything could have happened. Fox has their side of the story. I'm sure Josh has his side of the story. But clearly something's going on, because the reason why he sent this tweet before the movie came out.
Yeah.
It's still tracking like 45, 50 million, could do okay. He's basically apologizing for this movie. And what happened? It's not, Michael Bay wouldn't do that, because even if it made all this money, he would say, still made money.
He'd be like, F y'all, I'm swimming in my pool of money. Yeah, that's what he would have done.
This is clearly a guy who doesn't like the vision of this film. Even if it goes and makes $70 million this weekend, he still has said that. So he didn't, because if it makes a lot of money, then I wonder if someone from Fox is saying, well, you know what? He said he didn't make it. And he probably still at this point would say, no, that's not my movie. The guy seems to be an artist, a vision, but I still think, shh.
Yeah,
don't talk anymore.
Don't speak. And the funny thing too is that the source that reached out to us yesterday, she mentioned several things too, several more things really crazy things. But however, since I don't have a secondary source, because right now we're only talking about the stuff that I have confirmed by 2 separate sources. Since the stuff she told us yesterday, I can't confirm with secondary sources. We're not even going to talk about that. But what we have in front of us is just enough. Like, this is a mess. Anyway, Schnepp, you have perspectives on this. How do you see, as a filmmaker yourself too, how do you see all this?
Well, as a filmmaker, I think I saw the trancated version last night. It was definitely edited in a very horrible way, where scenes are introduced, characters are introduced, and then it goes nowhere. And I really enjoyed. Well, we'll get into the spoilers later today.
Yeah, we're going to do a spoilers review of Fantastic Four later.
I didn't
today.
hate the movie though. I thought it was okay. In fact, I really enjoyed the first hour of it. And already having read a lot of other people's reviews, I was like, wow, everyone is slamming this film. So I went in with very much lowered expectations and found myself pleasantly surprised at not only the direction, but the storyline. And also, being a Lee Kirby fan, not as much of an Ultimates fan, I didn't mind the younger version of the Fantastic Four and the way they were doing stuff. The minute Doom gets introduced, the movie just becomes something like Trank got on a plane, went somewhere, another weird creature came and got involved in making it, and it's horrible. It really is. It's like a completely different movie. The last 10 minutes are laughable, and a completely different film. So we'll get into really spoilers later, but I myself have 3 different sources. 2 from the special effects industry, all also backing up everything that your guys' person said. It's a kind of one of those situations that is a nightmare that a lot of people, especially creatives, get involved in. Now, I made a film about a film that never even got made. It got to the point of almost getting made, and that's with giant, high-powered people, a mega producer, a mega director, several really mega stars, Nick Cage. I mean, really well-known writers. I mean, it was like. And it's funny, I was watching the Fantastic Four film, and you see certain people's names in the credits. You're like, oh, they worked on Superman Lives, because they work in this industry. They've worked on every film since then and before then and even now. And it's one of those things where when you're making a film with a giant studio and $120 million is on the table, that's a lot. It's much different than when you have a $5 million or a $10 million or even a $15 million, let's even say a $30 million film. You're talking 120 plus P&R, advertising, all this. I mean,
lots at stake.
Yeah, so there's a lot of money riding on not just the opening weekend, but worldwide. And how many legs is it going to have per week? What is it going to do on home video, VOD? So there's a lot of money that people are wanting to get back on something. That's when I agree with you. If you hire someone and you're like, hey, this person has a vision to take this property that a lot of people, even those other 2 Fantastic Four movies made some money, they were critically derided and not looked at fondly. So let's go with it in a different direction. Let's hire this other person who's going to put a different spin on it, put a different perspective on it. Don't take it away from them halfway through the movie. Don't second guess them and play mental mind games with them throughout the entire movie. Don't take the special effects guy that you hired who won an Oscar and replace him with someone else and not tell the director himself. Or the special effects guy who's now quit and left the industry. Have a little bit of respect for the people that you hired to actually do the film. Then you might actually have a good film. You're not going to have a cobbled together nightmare mess that you have now with this Fantastic Four film, which now you have, the director himself saying, this isn't my movie. Right. And now you're like, hey, are you going to spend another $5 million to make a special director's cut? Or are you going to deny him that as well?
Well, they'll probably deny it because the thing is,
it's not going to happen.
Well, no, because the reason why is because now at this point, even though he's sent this tweet or whatever too, this is what the studio is able to do. Like, look, I worked in the studio system for a long time. Well, 3 years, not that much a long time, but I still saw a lot of it to where there are scapegoats. And when you have a political system like that, especially a young director who's done one film like this, and I think that he got himself into trouble by getting himself into that house thing. Whatever happened there, he still got himself in trouble there because that's something that they can use if they wanted to. Yeah. So I think that within all of that, he's going to be the scapegoat here regardless. So I think that that's why, like you said, if more sources are coming out and more people who worked with him on the set, they can verify that this is indeed the case, then hopefully it does come out.
Yeah. But let me just say this too. More sources are going to come out.
Yeah.
And it's not going to look good for those Fox people who screwed this whole thing up. That's all I can say about it. It's one of those things where people can look fondly back at X-Men Last Stand and be like, oh, that's a mistake. Or X-Men Origins. Or, hey, I saw what happened there. This is like the big granddaddy of the mistakes of what Fox executives can do. And you got to look at it like X-Men Days of Future Past. They did a good job. They let Bryan Singer and Simon Kinberg do what they needed to do.
That's that's the prime example there, is because Bryan Singer had a couple under his belt, did get himself in trouble, but after they started shooting everything too.
Right.
But then there's other, even with Matthew Vaughn, who you look at Kingsman,
First
or even
Class,
Kingsman and stuff,
Kingsman.
but Matthew Vaughn had Bryan Singer's backing. Josh Trank really went in there, one movie, same thing as Gavin Hood, went in there, one movie, we can push you around a little bit, kid, and until if he would have hit it there, if he would have hit another movie big and then done Fantastic Four, then he probably would have had a little more clout.
I can only say the last thing about like how mind-boggling some of the decisions of what to replace and what to replace it with, or what to take away and what to bring back, or how to make the ending work, as far as like cuckoo people who probably never read a comic book in their life think. It's mind-boggling. If you see the Fantastic Four, it's worth seeing, just to actually see how much of a movie changes. Like the last 20 minutes, you're like, what am I watching? You know, what is this? So we'll get into it with spoilers, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And I want to reemphasize this. We mentioned this at the beginning, but I think I really do want to reemphasize this. I don't think any of us at the table are saying it's not the studio's job just to say, to let filmmakers come to them and have the filmmaker say, I have a vision for a movie, and then it's the studio's job. Okay, fine, and just cut them a $200 million check. No, it's got to be it's got to be the studio's movie. It's their movie. They're paying for. I get it. It's just that once you bring on somebody and you agree on a vision and say, yes, this is the movie we're going to make, then let them make the movie. You know, if you want to tell, Joss Whedon, no, you can't have the Wasp, you have to use Black Widow instead. Tell them that in advance. That's fine. If you want to tell them, look, you have to have Venom in this movie, fine, if you tell them that in advance. But once you set that up, let them do their thing. Right. And I don't think we've heard the last of this.
Oh, no way.
And you know what? Again, I'm not trying to paint Fox's villains here. I think they do a lot of really good things. I have a lot of respect for Fox. They've put out some great stuff. I love what they did with X-Men Days of Future Past.
I love what they're doing with Deadpool.
But
apes.
Yes,
apes, Deadpool.
Yeah, it's like, I like what we're seeing from Agent 47 so far. I think it's all great.
Yeah.
But I think this is one bad day. But I think the best thing for the studio at this point is say, hey, yeah, we own it. We dropped the ball on this one, but look at all the other balls we're catching for touchdowns. Because it's true. They're knocking it out of the park in a lot of ways. But once again, I don't think we've heard the end of this.